There are about 8.3 billion people on this earth, and there's one thing that kind of keeps us all connected. And that is that we have to work. And while some people are, young kids or young adults getting a higher education, some are rich billionaires that, are Nepo babies and they don't have to touch a spatula in their whole goddamn life. Or, there's people who've turned their hobbies into their jobs.
Was that the Bionaties program?
A lot of people, their jobs fucking suck. A lot of people have to live paycheck to paycheck just to maybe pay all their bills and get a couple of groceries here and there. And I know this isn't anything groundbreaking. I'm not blowing anyone's minds with this bombshell. But this has been something that has been eating at me for a while. Like, I would clock into my job and feel like I do nothing of substance because I would get yelled at by some cranky old person because I'm younger than them and they don't think I know what I'm talking about, even though they walked into the big name electronics store where I worked at. They asked for some help and they were like, you don't know what you're talking about, even though they can't find the fucking power button to their fucking phone. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? And after that kerfuffle, I'd go home and feel like I wasted my time. Did I help someone out? Sure, but I didn't feel good about it. Every time I clock into work, I feel my brain actively turning into mush. I turn into this corporate robot zombie that just does the same motions over and over again. And there's always that one guy, you know, the guy that just wants something very, very specific at the tech store that I work at, big name corpo, but we don't have it because we're not fucking Jesus. And he's like, oh, why don't you guys carry it? You guys should carry it. Your guys at the store with this. I'm like, no, we don't carry a fucking charger from an HP laptop from 1976. Those don't even exist. As you can see, the monotony kind of gets to me, like genuinely. And it feels like nobody had my back with this. It feels like nobody gets it. Or at least that's what it felt like until I started watching this seasonal anime during my lunch breaks to get me out of this 9-to-5 hell. And that is the anime Smoking Behind the Supermarket with you. And while the show sounds like it was made by Big Tobacco to make you think, hey, smoking is pretty cool and a hot emo chick is gonna wanna fuck you if you keep a pack of Marlboro Reds in your back pocket.
Although it kinda did, and I kinda wanna smoke 3 packs a day now.
It's really about work culture and how you can maybe escape this modern hell of some sorts. This show focuses on a 40-something-year-old salaryman with a nicotine addiction named Sasaki. And he's just living his day-to-day life. He's not at all what you'd imagine a main protagonist in an anime to be. He's not some hot-blooded teenager either trying to save the world, lose his virginity, or save the world by losing his virginity. He's just a guy that would be a background character that would maybe be on screen for 3 seconds in any other show. He wakes up, goes to work, takes a ciggy break, gets back to work, eats, sleeps, and repeats. It's not really an ideal life. Hell, in the show, he ends up working for almost 2 weeks straight with no day off in between, which is great. But it pays the bills. He's able to provide for himself, so he's got that going at least. He's pretty much by himself all the time, though. Whenever he's not at work surrounded by his colleagues, he's home alone trying to pass the time before he has to clock into his next shift. It's a lonely life, basically making him a caricature of modern Japanese work culture. He pretty much had nothing that kept him going. Well, almost. You see, Sasaki would make frequent trips to his local supermarket after work to pick up some mochi chips. And while it seems like he's just getting a snack to channel in his elder side, these chips were just an excuse to see someone. The cute, bubbly waifu of aisle 2 named Yamada. She always smiles and gives him the best customer service that he's ever experienced. The simple was the perfect pick-me-up for him after work. And it genuinely made his cloudy days just a bit brighter. If he saw Yamada, he gain the motivation to keep on going because he at least had one person that would be kind to him. And it's a bit sad, but this was his life. And even on some of his most brutal days of being a wage slave for a company that just sees him as disposable as a Starburst wrapper, Yamada wouldn't be on the clock whenever he got off work. And when this would happen, it would eat him up inside. It would remind him that his life fucking sucked. He was just a corporate shill for a random company that didn't give a shit about him. It's honestly one of the reasons that makes him smoke cigarettes, because it makes him a bit calmer. Is it good for him? No, I think that's pretty fucking obvious if you pass dare in middle school. But sometimes people just need certain substances to get through their struggles. Not me though. I'm a good boy with no problems whatsoever. Cheers. What? And on one of these days, he was trying to find a smoking spot to fulfill his addiction whenever he got summoned by a Hanimo chick to go light up some ciggies with her behind the supermarket. And while most people think, stranger danger, the aura she gave off dragged him in because something about her looked familiar. Sasaki couldn't put his finger on what that was, but he decided to take her up on that offer. This girl's name was Kayama, and she was also an employee at the supermarket that Sasaki frequented. What a coinky-dink. What are the odds that two girls with the same hair color, same eye color, same height, same cup size, and similar names could be working at the same place? They must be pretty good friends. Or at least, that's what Soslowski thinks. If you couldn't put 1 and 2 together, Tamaya and Yamada are the same exact person. Tamaya is just who Yamada is off the clock. She's just a normal girl working at the supermarket. There's nothing too crazy about her. She's just your typical dummy mommy that picks up shifts whenever she can so that she can support herself while giving 110% at her job. She doesn't mind her job, but sometimes it can be brutal because of all the bitchy people that are just there to complain and make your life miserable. However, there was always one person that would be a light during her dark and gloomy night shifts. Sasaki. He was just this lovable oaf that would always be nice to her instead of treating her like she was a robot. It was the perfect pick-me-up for her. So when she saw the opportunity to spend more time with him, she seized it. And so the two of them started smoking behind the supermarket. And that's kind of all what the show is really about. And while there is some plot points like, oh, the manager found out, oh no, and oh no, a false lung cancer diagnosis for Sasaki, that's not really what drew me into the show. What drew me into the show was the characters, Sasaki and Yamada. That's because I found myself in both characters. These are people working not the most ideal jobs in the world, but they were able to find something that brings them a slight bit of joy in their lives. But isn't smoking bad? Yeah, no shit. But this activity is a little reprieve for them. It's a moment where neither of them have to present. They can just be who they are in a safe place. Instead of a serious businessman, Sasaki could be his whimsical, goofy self around Yamada. And instead of being the cookie-cutter store greeter that was literally trained how to smile, Yamada could be this chill and laid-back person around Sasaki. There was no pressure for the two of them. It's just them, some cigarettes, a lighter, and whatever banter they decided to bring up that day. It's nice and chill, and it's something I think a lot of people my age need to take into consideration. For a bit of context on why I personally feel this way, I feel like I need to give you guys an obligatory lore dump on who I am. So, hi. My name is Kyan Ely, and I've been doing YouTube for about God knows how long. I've been posting since I was like a little kid. You can find things like that on the interwebs here. It's pretty cool. And I recently got a degree in film. It was pretty fun, honestly, getting that degree. I've made several short films that I've posted on this channel, and I've even shared some of my experiences doing some things like that. It was honestly really cool and a great experience with that. And it felt like I was always working towards something more grandiose, you know. My school advertised that, hey, we got you covered. We got connections to like Netflix, Disney, all those things. If you just come to our school, we'll help you out, brother. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll absolutely go there and work towards things. And I felt like I was getting there, you know, towards graduation. I felt like I was getting super close. I was gonna be able to work with Disney or Netflix or Mr. Beast. Yeah, spoiler alert, that didn't happen. During one of my last classes at university, I asked where any of these programs that were advertised to help me join the industry were, and they just looked at me like deer in headlights. They had no clue what I was talking about. And they told me that there's no jobs around here right now. We just finished with the writer's strike. Come on, they gotta write something for you to be able to know film or edit or do something like that. That broke me. I was basically told that I was just working for the past 3 years for just a random piece of paper that's gonna sit in my mom's scrapbook from a random state school. And the skills that I learned from the past 3 years were just gonna go to waste because I wasn't gonna get a job right out of college because they kind of failed me. And granted, I also kind of did fail myself a little bit. I can take accountability for that part because I didn't network as much as I think I should have or something like that, but it still fucking sucked, man. And ever since then, I've been in day jobs that haven't been the greatest. You know, I've been in a desk job like Sasaki where I was doing managerial stuff where I definitely shouldn't be, and I was getting underpaid. Like the new hires were making more than me, which definitely grinds my gears. And currently I'm working a retail job like Yamada, having to deal with some of the most insufferable people ever, but it's fine. I can at least pay the bills, so at least got that going for me. However, there's one lesson that I've learned from working these jobs, and this show just kind of reinforced it to me. And that is to find comfort in the ones around you. While smoking is definitely a comfort for both Yamada and Sasaki, it's the time that they spend together that's important to them. They like their nice, quiet chats about literally anything. It's a great reset to keep them grounded, and the talks they share make them feel human. Instead of being a cog in a machine, they get to be their true selves instead of the persona they try to portray. Similarly, after a brutal day of work, I at least try to have a conversation with one of my friends and try to connect with them. It helps me not dwell in the doom and gloom, and it helps me find some kind of hope in humanity. And while I still hate all the crazy bitches that treat service people like crap, it doesn't make me lose all hope in humanity, you know? I can still look towards the future because I at least got my boys in my corner. I have my community that watches this very video, and they're pretty cool because they definitely press that subscribe button, and you should too. And I have my mom who's like my biggest cheerleader ever, and she calls me weekly to make sure I'm okay. And hopefully one day I can maybe forge a connection like Sasaki and Yamada, even though I don't smoke, and even if my job isn't super poggies. And hey, being human is all about just learning from experiences and building yourself up from them. And if your experiences lead you to smoking behind a supermarket with a hot goth baddie and or salaryman, then I think you're doing something right. Thanks for watching, and just always remember, drugs are bad. Have a good night, femboys. I'll see you in my next video.